As actually, I was going to bring this up. I saw in the debate group, the disc golf debate group, where I believe it was Alex Russell put on
Yeah,
his
what are
Instagram
your thoughts
story.
on that?
Yeah, I thought this was so. Alex Russell put on his Instagram story and said, "Are we really going to play a major with branches less than 20 inches from a basket?"
I want to hear
Um,
your and Silas's thoughts on it before I give my take.
I mean, it.
For those that are listening, we're talking about whole it's like 10 or 11, I want to say, on Jones, and is essentially a basket that sits in between two of those like trees that have like they're almost like Christmas trees, of where they have like the different rows of branches coming out, and like the bottom branches on this tree, on one of the trees, comes out so far that you can almost is touching the basket on one side. So that kind of gives you a visual of how guarded the basket is. But yeah, I want to hear what you
Yeah.
and Silas think of this.
Well, I'd have to look at the whole as a entirety, but I've played Jones East
It's a
before,
par
so I
four.
under.
It's a par four,
Yeah.
and a good drive will leave you probably like 375 to 300. Like people are gonna have 375, 300 wide open shot into the green.
And are the trees just on one side of the basket, or is it like
The
completely
So
circled?
the tree that is the picture that they're showing, that is on the so the photos taken from behind the basket shooting down the fairway. So the tree that he's kind of close to is on the left side of the basket, and then the tree on the other is on the right. So there's nothing in between your shot and the basket, if that makes sense.
But like, is there like a safe area? Like, if you go past, you're gonna have a putt type thing.
Yes.
Yeah, then I don't mind it. I mean, I can see where like 20 inches of the basket, but there's no PGA guideline of like it's got to be 2 feet away. And in my opinion, like that one singular branch looks like it sticks out just far for that tree. So like if you trimmed it back a foot, what does it really change about the hole? That branch. I think the question that could be asked is like, are we playing a major with a tree this close to the basket? But if there's a safe bailout area, I think a tree is a solid defense of a basket. If there is an area where if I throw over here, I'm not going to have an obstructed putt because like that's a smart way to protect a green in disc golf. If it's fully surrounded and it's like, no, if I get close to this basket, I'm just in a tree. I hate that. But if it's like just strategically placed trees where it's like, yeah, I just got to get 25 long right and I have a wide open putt, then like I think that's a good thing because then it provides not OB but a way to naturally defend the basket without having to get stupid and gimmicky. What about you, Silas?
Yeah, yeah. Just to piggyback off of that, I haven't seen the picture, but if it's what I'm picturing, I don't know. It could be a good thing and or a bad thing, and that is because I feel like if you airball a putt and if the tree is that close, it kind of gives you a safeguard. You know what I'm saying? So it
Oh,
kind of just
That's one way to
catches
look at
that
it.
yeah, like a
catches that
backstop.
putt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it doesn't penalize you as much as a wide open kind of green would, but that's just me.
So my take on it is this is one of those where it is rewarding more accurate players. So similar to what you were saying, a lot of times we will majority of times we see a basket and we're just trying to throw it as close to the basket as possible. We're not thinking about
Yeah,
I need to make sure I miss left. I need to make sure I miss right. I need to make sure I'm short. I need to make sure I'm long. We're literally seeing a basket and we're trying to throw it underneath the basket. And if we end up missing any direction, fine, whatever. I'll try and make a 30-foot putt. This is one of those holes where you can't do that. If
yeah,
you miss 15 feet left of this basket, you do not have a putt. So I like it in that sense of where we now went from like having a circle around a basket where anywhere lands in there, we have a putt, we're happy, to where now it's like a small little slice of pie. The slice of pie is short of the basket, like literally directly short of the basket, and like a little bit to the right. I would even say long is the play there, because if you do try to go long, long left is bad and long right isn't great. So like directly long is all right, but like that's why to me it's like the biggest chunk, the biggest sliver is short right. And so I just think it adds a different element. And obviously it's not something that's super common. Now, obviously when you get into woods golf, you a lot of times see sometimes trees, like actual trunks of trees close to the
Yeah.
basket, and everyone seems to be fine with that. But in this scenario, it is actually a wall of essentially branches and they're not really leaves. It's kind of one of those. It's like one of those ever. It's like I said. It's like a Christmas tree. So it's not. They don't have
Yeah.
leaves. They have like those little spiky things.
Like
Like
needles.
yeah, needles. So yeah, if you're left, you just don't have a putt. I'm completely fine with it because we all know it's there. We all know when we're playing that hole that if you do go left, you don't have a putt. So it's
Mm-hmm.
one of those situations of where, you know, if you find yourself up over there, you threw a bad shot. So I'm completely fine
Yeah.
with it. I think it's definitely something that, like you said, one of the ways that you can protect a basket, because if you do chop all those branches and stuff down, the defense of that hole pretty much goes away.
Yeah, because like that's what I'd be curious is like if you walked up to that hole and someone like was like, okay, we need a 10-foot parameter around the basket that's safe or whatever, and then you trim that tree up, 10 feet in, like, and in my head, picturing the hole, not seeing it in person, that makes it just a much worse hole. Because like then, like you were saying, approach shots and stuff like that, a lot less thought goes into it. Because then also a tree like that, when you trim it up, you're also removing the defense that the tree provides. So not only is it like a 10-foot circle, but now it's more like you're in the woods and it's just a tree trunk. Because like now if you're under it, you don't have as much of a penalty. Because like, I don't know. I would also be curious, like, if that was OB that close. It's just a wide open field and there's OB like next to the
We
basket like
just
that. Would people
we just
complain?
played hole 16 and it was a blind shot. Hole 16 at DMC is a downhill blind shot. OB is 10 feet left and 10 feet behind the basket. So
Yeah.
long left and long, you're OB, and it's a blind shot.